So most leaders don't wake up and decide to just wreck their life. They just don't. They don't plan for infidelity. They don't aim for scandals. They don't set out to betray people's trust. But what happens is that slowly, silently, what starts off as what I believe to be fatigue and a lack of healthy outlets become a setup. So it doesn't start with scandal, it starts with silence. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. So if you've been on the internet any amount of time over the last couple of weeks, you have heard about Andy Byron and the whole Coldplay concert saga, right? But I want to talk about how leadership is a gift, but we have to also acknowledge that leadership is a grind. And leaders carry the weight of vision, of people, of performance, challenges, obstacles, and victories. Leaders are celebrated for their strength, but very rarely are they permitted to just rest, to just be human. So we show up to the table, we show up in the pulpits, we show up in the boardrooms, but often we don't even have a table of our own to just be human. And so when you're constantly on, constantly performing, serving, smiling, it slowly starts chipping away at your soul and who you are. And I don't believe that leaders are failing because they're bad people. They're failing because they're burnt out and often alone because leadership is isolating. And this pressure to be on and strong in public can cause you to suffer in silence behind closed doors, right? And so I want to kind of start bringing awareness to leadership and those unmet needs. And there's a truth that I need us to acknowledge, that titles do not cancel your humanity. Emotional needs don't just disappear because people look up to you or because you have a certain level of influence. But when you don't process the pain, the loneliness, the exhaustion, the isolation, it does not go away. It just goes underground. And things that are underground, they don't die. They just grow. They grow in the dark. And so that unmet need, whether it's affection, whether it's affirmation, or just a safe place to exhale, it starts whispering to you. And your humanity, it's not a liability. It's actually a leadership asset. But if we don't believe that, we'll keep trying to hide our humanity and we'll stay on until being on shows up in ways that we never intended. And so then we find ourselves on these very slippery slopes. And they're not loud. Because I don't believe that anybody starts out with scandal. It usually starts with those innocent text messages, the DM that you didn't delete, that lunch that you just happened to not mention to your spouse or your significant other. It starts with secrecy and pretending, with emotional vulnerability that's basically covered up in professional polish. And so our very private struggles become public failures when we ignore them. And again, I don't believe that it's because you're evil people, but I believe it's just you're tired. Tired people do not make clear decisions. And so when you're drained, when you're tired, when you're unguarded, you make mistakes. And you mistake attention for love, and you mistake your escapes, these secret escapes, they become rest for you, right? And so what I want to start perpetuating and really calling our attention to is having escape routes. You don't just need accountability. We need accountability as leaders, but we don't just need accountability. We need escapes. We need escape routes, right? We need escapes that don't lead to our undoing. So what I'm saying is that we need healthy escapes. We need rhythms that remind us that we're people before we're a position. And I'm talking about escapes that are like therapy, pastoral counseling, friends that don't care about your platform, but more so your peace of mind. Friends that don't have a problem checking you, but also still respect you for who you are as a leader, right? And also like hobbies that let your soul just be and breathe. Because if you don't create a place to just be human, your humanity is going to show up in a place that could very much so cost you everything And we see that time and time again. There's not a week that goes by that we don't see some leader involved in some moral failure. And this is not a message to bring shame or to cause shame. It's a wake-up call for my leaders. It's a call for us to pay attention before things fall apart. Because we're not weak for needing rest. We're not flawed because we need affirmation or even attention. We're not failures because we need help. We're human. And we've been entrusted with a mantle, with an assignment, with a purpose, but we are still human. So build in the breaks. Ask for support. Tell the truth to somebody. Find a trusted confidant, somebody that you can share your heart, your thoughts, your failures, your struggles. Find somebody, a safe place that you can share and release, because what's done in the dark, those secret things, they grow in the dark. So find somebody that you can be real with, right? Real strength is asking for the help, because what's at stake for us is so much more than just our reputation. It's literally our wholeness, and you deserve to be whole. So if you're a leader watching this now, or if you're watching this and you just are closely connected with the leader, tag them, text them, start the conversation. Ask them, how are you? How can I support you? What do you need? Is there something that's on your heart? Make yourself an available safe space and truly be a safe place for them. Not a judgment zone, a judgment-free zone that holds them accountable, but still gives them the space to just live in their humanity, right? So let's normalize healing. Let's normalize rest. Let's normalize being real before our leaders come to a place of ruin. Yeah, that's what's on my heart today. So tag a leader. Start the conversation. Share this with somebody. And let me know what actually stands out to you in this. Let me know if you can relate. And I'll see y'all in the comments.